Hello everyone and welcome to a match between AnishGiri and FaustiOro, coming a day after Faustino's great victory in the Legends and Prodigies tournament. He completely obliterated everyone with a score of 8 out of 9, no losses, only 2 draws, and that was an incredible performance. He won his Grandmaster norm first one, but he still does have time to become the youngest Grandmaster ever. And only Gukesh got his Grandmaster norm first one prior to Faustino's, maybe I think by some 2 months. And well, that's all very nice. There he faced some very, very strong Grandmasters, some of them 2,500, some of them 2,600 and beyond. But Anish is a super Grandmaster. He's a completely different beast. And, it's not quite the same. So how will Faustino fare? They played a 4-game match, and this is game 4. We're going to discuss what happened in the match after we check out the game, but now let's focus on the game. So Anish with white opens with pawn to e4, and if you're wondering about their magnificent ratings, even though Faustino is only 11 years old, he's far, far higher rated than 1670. They are playing on ICC, on the Internet Chess Club, and they're playing Rapid, so they are both unrated at that format on that website. So that is why these are the ratings. Obviously, those are not the real ones. So pawn to e4, we have pawn to e5 by Faustino, knight f3, we have knight to c6, and bishop to b5. Anish goes for the Ruy Lopez. We have a6, Morphy's defense, bishop to a4, and knight to f6. Castles kingside, pawn to b5, bishop to b3, and bishop to b7. We have pawn to d3 and bishop to c5. So all been played before, nothing new here. We have pawn to a4 and castles kingside. We have bishop to g5, pinning the knight, pawn to h6, bishop to h4, and even pawn to g5. We have bishop to g3 and pawn to d6. So both of them playing fairly quickly. Anish even more so. He is still over 9 minutes on the clock. Faustino down to 8 minutes. And there are a couple of games that reach this position, even in top-level chess. For example, Vishwanathan Anand had it against Gata Kamsky in the quarterfinals of the FIDE Candidates tournament in 1994, or was it semifinals? I think it was semifinals in 1994, and Anand lost that game where he played pawn to c3. There are some games where knight to c3 is played, also some games where some other moves are played, but Anish's move a captures on b5 is a new move, so now as of move 12 we have a completely new game. Okay, a captures on b5, we have rook captures on a8, bishop captures on a8, and now pawn to c3. Anish saying, okay, I'm now going to develop the queen, the knight, the rook, and at some point when everything else has been taken care of, probably will execute pawn to d4, or maybe somehow, break through on the king side, maybe sacrifice bust open the black king's position. So all depends on how Faustino plays. We have bishop to a7, making sure that d4 does not come with a tempo on the bishop. Knight a3 attacking b5, queen to b8 defending, and now knight to c2. Now the knight can come to e3 and then to f5. On f5, this knight would definitely be a monster knight and, a force to be reckoned with. We have knight to e7, and Anish strikes with pawn to h4. Here you should play g4, g4, knight h2, and then maybe queen c8, and you hope to hold this somehow. White will still improve, and then probably at some point execute pawn to d4 and slowly but surely improve his position. But Faustino went for knight to h5 first, and Anish said here, I even caught a glimpse of Anish's stream at probably at around this point, a little bit sooner, but here Anish said that there are all sorts of sacrifices possible here, but he's just going to play bishop to h2, which is funny, as bishop to h2 is the top move recommended by the engine. But what Anish meant, of course, was that here the bishop is attacked and the f-pawn is pinned, so you have to move the bishop. And you could just capture on e5. That's perfectly fine. But black can complicate matters. For example, captures knight f4, and now after pawn to g3, it seems like everything is perfectly fine. You're going to play knight d7 and have an easily winning game. But then knight captures on d3. Okay, knight d7. Let's say knight captures on f2. Let's not forget about our good friend, the dark square bishop. Rook captures, let's say queen to d8. Now the knight cannot move as the queen is undefended on d1. But okay, knight f6 check, king to h8. And believe it or not, every move is winning for black unless you find the only winning move for white, which is knight to d4. So yes, it's winning, but it's not impossible to mess it up. So Anish's instincts are very much correct here in going bishop to h2. We have pawn to g4, and now knight captures on e5. So he postpones the sacrifice for one move, even though he will win the material back. And now, if you play d captures on e5, of course, just queen captures on g4. You win the knight back. Or if knight to g7, then bishop captures on e5, and you cannot stop checkmate. Even if knight g6, you just play queen captures on g6, as, of course, you have not forgotten about our good friend, the bishop on b3. So after knight captures on e5, pawn to g3, Faustino says, all right, if I have to give it up, I might as well, ruin your position a little bit. Bishop captures, we have knight captures, and now queen to g4 with check. King to h8, now the rook is coming to g8 to maybe put some pressure on the white king's position. We have queen captures on g3 and queen to e8 now, adding a defender to the f7 pawn so you can get the rook over to g8. We have rook to a1 as the bishop on a7 is undefended, and knight to c8 defending. We have knight to g4, now threatening knight f6, but also just knight captures on h6, and here queen to e7. Okay, so how can Anish make progress here? Well, he just plays knight captures on h6. It's perfectly fine, more than enough, really. Queen to f6, and now knight back to f5. We have rook to g8, queen to f3, and now queen to g6, hoping that Anish moves the queen from f3 so he can checkmate on g2, but Anish just plays rook captures on a7. He said that there are many ways to win here. He goes for the most boring one, as he's too old to, try and make something flashy happen, and then he might even, mess it up. Knight captures on a7, and now knight to e7, and he was in this position on move 29 that FaustiOro resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here, and there really isn't. Once the queen moves, you will just, you can win this however you want, but you can also just play bishop captures on f7, and there's no move that black can make. I mean, it's knight g6 is coming. It's just a devastating attack for white. Rook to f8, queen to h5. You have to offer a queen trade. Now you can give a check with the knight g6 check, king g7. Now you can trade captures, knight captures with check, king g7, and now you can even go knight e6 check, captures, and knight captures on c7, and you are up 5 pawns, which is, of course, for a player of Anish's strength, more than enough to beat anyone. So yeah, it was a very, very clean game, and it was a very, very clean match. Anish won the match 3.5 to 4, which is, I mean, absolutely incredible. And he maybe could have pushed for 4-0, but yeah, Faustino played well in the third game, and it was a solid draw. But yeah, you can very much see the difference. Even though Faustino completely dominated the Legends and Prodigies tournament, I mean, going 8 out of 9 with over 2,800 performance, without losing a single game, that is insane. But Anish is on a completely different level, and here you can definitely see the difference. So while Faustino may break Abhimanyu Mishra's record on becoming the youngest grandmaster ever, he is not yet on the level of play that Abhimanyu is, for example, as Abhimanyu almost qualified for the candidates tournament via the Grand Swiss. But okay, it's definitely a start, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how quickly Faustino rises, and how far he goes. But yeah, this was another masterclass by Anish, just showing his class. So very, very impressed by it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank William Rideout, Anthony Manucci, Robert Taratun, Rokao Chapin, SC, and John Anderson for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And if you also want to learn how to beat 11-year-olds like this in chess, first link in the description below, download Lotus Chess, and, well, start today. See you soon.